In this video, we'll do a review of our YouTube channel analytics and discuss what actions we can take based on them. You'll receive a special behind-the-scenes look at the business of fantasy football on YouTube, learning our demographics of our audience and traffic sources. We'll also reveal how much we make on YouTube ads for a typical video. You've got a backstage pass, so come on in. It's all coming up next. All right, we thought we'd show you a little bit of our studio that you don't ever get a chance to see. So we're in a new location and now rocking a new mic. And of course, the lighting's got to be good, so we'd have not one but two bright lights that shine into my face. I may go prematurely blind, but you know what? It's all for you guys and getting a quality picture. And the handy dandy Mac, which I do all of my editing and post-process work on. Let's look at our audience first by gender. And ladies and gentlemen, emphasis on the word gentlemen, we've got a frat house here at the Fantasy Football Consultants. 95% are male, according to YouTube. That is really surprising because 40% of NFL fans are female. If you look at age, that is more across the board. And one interesting note, the older you are, the more likely you are to watch more of our content as a percent of the video. Very interesting. I don't know if that says something about our content or about the attention span of people based on their age. All right, let's take a look at our viewers by country. Not surprising, way overloaded in the United States. That's where almost all the games are being played. But after Canada, it's interesting to note Mexico and the United Kingdom are the next countries, and those are the two countries that the NFL has had reached out and actually played limited games at those locations. Breaking down it into states, the first four states, not surprisingly, are the four states of the most populous, but we have to give it up to New York. They're the fourth populous state in the U.S., but they're second in our viewers. So I guess I have to be careful in how much I criticize and make fun of the New York Jets. All right, this is a new feature that YouTube Analytics has, returning versus new viewers. And you can see a pattern that happens during our NFL season with our content because we are releasing new videos on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So we get a lot of viewers on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and then it starts to go back down over the weekend and on Monday, and then it repeats itself, kind of like an EKG chart for both the returning and new viewers. In the Reach tab in YouTube Analytics, you'll find their traffic sources. This is great because it tells you where your viewers are finding you. So you can see the percentages for the Fantasy Football Consultants. Let me quickly explain the top four. Search is anytime you do a search within YouTube, then a bunch of videos appear. So that's YouTube search, and if you have really good keywords, you should get a significant percentage from YouTube search. Browse features, this is features really returning viewers. Imagine that you go to youtube.com immediately without doing any search, a whole bunch of videos will appear. That is on browse features. It's usually based on videos you have watched in the past. Suggested videos is once you complete watching a particular video, YouTube wants to keep you on the platform. So they will make suggestions of, hey, this video presumably is similar to a video that you just watched. And external is you found the video, our content, from an external site outside of YouTube. Maybe a link from Facebook or Twitter or from our website. So in the Audience tab in YouTube Analytics, you can see your viewers by subscriber status. Man, I would like to at least have half of our viewers be subscribers. So do me a favor. Help me at least reach that goal. If you're watching this and you are not a subscriber, please smash that red subscriber button. It's completely free, and you'd really be helping out this channel. Also, if you made it this far into the video and you have gotten any value, please smash the like button. All right, so far we've only been talking about things from a channel basis. Let's get into the detail of specific videos. So here's a video that we do every week during the NFL season, a FanDuel video previewing the upcoming week. This is for week 8. So let's zoom into that graph. We can see in the shaded area our typical performance of our video. So this is a video that has done better than normal, and that's typical for FanDuel. And one of the reasons is there's very little competition out there to do FanDuel videos as opposed to DraftKings videos. So I think that's one of the reasons that we do better on FanDuel. But also, you notice how only in like the first 4 or 5 days, we get really high views, and then it basically flattens out like almost all of our weekly content, because nobody cares at the end of week 8 and the football games occur. Nobody cares what we're talking about in week 9, week 10, week 11 for week 8. So it's one of the curses of doing fantasy football content. Let's get to the thing that I bet a lot of you guys are wondering. You're going, hey, 3,400 views? How much money do you make on a video like that? So a lot of YouTubers don't like to disclose this. I have no problem in this video letting you guys know the exact amount. Take a guess. What do you think? How much? My guess is it's lower than you guessed. It's $31. I can't retire on that, but that's all right. There's a real valuable tool in YouTube Analytics under the Reach tab. It's called the funnel, and it starts at the top with the impressions. Your impression is each time that YouTube shows your video thumbnail to a potential viewers. And then you might ask, well, what the next step is, what percent of people actually click on it? And that's what the click-through rate is. 7.7% is actually pretty good. YouTube says a majority of channels have a click-through rate between 2% and 10%. So you take the click-through rate times the total impressions, that's how many views you get from impressions. So once you get that view and that click, the next challenge as a YouTube creator is, how do you keep people watching? And looking at the engagement tab and the overview tab, you can get some guidance about how you do with audience retention. So here is that same video and audience retention. And there's really good news and bad news for FFC's audience retention on this video. Let's take a closer look at this particular slide. All right, so the bad news here for us is we're losing a ton of viewers in the very first 30 seconds of the video. So we need to continually focus on what we say in the first 30 seconds and figure out how we can retain more of our audience. But the good news is, after we get past the 30 seconds, from the 30 seconds on to, I would say, the 20-minute mark, we almost lose no audience. That's unbelievable. That is really good, which means once we get to our actual content that we're talking about, our viewers appreciate it and they're locked in. Now, we note in the last couple of minutes when we're wrapping up the video and maybe saying our goodbyes, we lose some audience members at that time. So I talked about the curse of our industry where our videos only have a shelf life of about 5 days. But if we can make evergreen content that people will always be interested in watching, it's really powerful. So take this video. We did a series of NFL DFS masterclasses, basically how to play daily fantasy football and maximize your chances of winning. Just if you look at the first 6 days, only 600 viewers. So you don't have that immediate demand like we have for our weekly content. But here we are 588 days later, and we're still getting views. Don't be thrown off by the revenue amount. We would have made a lot more, but we did not turn revenue on for this video until much later in its life. I want to show you that not all of our videos are successful. And I want to talk a little bit of reasons why. We did a very good series, but we released it in late December when a lot of our audience had been done with their fantasy leagues and were not watching. So you can see the results, much lower than our typical performance. If we look at the funnel that was in this video, we see that it didn't get as many impressions as we would have expected, only 6,000. But look at the click-through rate. Look how poor that click-through rate is, only 2.1%. And I would blame the thumbnail that I used there. So I did recently redesign the thumbnail, and there you see it on the screen now. So what we did in this series is we selected 16 of the best NFL players, and we asked which player is the best, considering all of them in their prime. And we pitted them in the head-to-head matchups. So we had a round of 16, and we had our viewers vote for it. Then it went down to 8, then 4, then 2. And in each of these matchups, me and my co-host, Michael Wiley, we debated the merits and strengths and weaknesses of both of those players. And we felt like, who do we think should move on? It was really a fun series. I really suggest you check it out. I'm going to put the link to that playlist on the screen right now. The other thing that we recently did for the upcoming 2021 season is we went through the first 2 rounds of a mock draft. So that was the top 24 players. If you're interested in that, that video is now on the screen. As well, if you want to hear more about YouTube, check out our YouTube Creator Masterclass series. It's great. There are 10 classes on how to grow your channel and be successful. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.